wasn't planning on getting engaged to an alien queen today. Hell, I wasn't even planning on stepping off my ship. But the universe has a funny way of making a fool out of even the best-laid plans. It started with a diplomatic mission. As humanity's representative to the Xarkali Empire, I was sent to negotiate trade agreements on behalf of the Terran Federation. Simple, right? Smile, shake hands, tentacles, claws, or whatever they had. Sign a treaty and get out. But no one told me about the gestural customs of the Xarkali. See, on Earth, when you clench your fist, touch your chest, and extend your hand forward, it means something like respect or friendship. You do that on Xarkal Prime, and it means a marriage proposal. I only found out after I had already done it, in front of Queen Zylara, the towering silver-scaled monarch of the Xarkali, and she accepted. Ambassador Carter, Zylara purred, her voice a mix of amusement and challenge. I am honored by your proposal. Froze. The room, filled with her advisors, nobles, and no fewer than 30 armed guards, also went silent. A low, vibrating hum filled the air. A sign, I later learned, that a Xarkali was either deeply pleased or considering whether to eat you. Ah, I said, which was about the best I could manage. The translator on my wrist beeped. Proceed with courtship rituals. It advised unhelpfully. I looked at my handler, Raj, who stood just behind me. He was already rubbing his temples, which meant I'd somehow managed to cause an interstellar diplomatic incident again. I think there's been a misunderstanding, I tried. Zylara's massive golden eyes narrowed. Do you take back your offer? I knew instinctively that saying yes would be bad. Like planetary war bad. This was the kind of mistake that started interstellar conflicts. And I, Richard Carter, did not want to be the guy who got Earth into a war because of a cultural blunder. Gulp. Of course not. The hum in the room became almost musical. Zylara smiled, revealing gleaming, serrated teeth. Then we shall be bonded in 3 cycles. Raj groaned behind me. Oh, 4. The next few days were a blur of preparations, or what passed for them in Xarkali culture. Apparently, marrying a Xarkali queen involved trials. And by trials I mean deadly gladiatorial combat. Oh, come on! I yelled as I dodged a massive spiked club swung by a Xarkali warrior twice my size. This is necessary, Zylara called from her ornate viewing platform above the arena. She was sipping something that looked suspiciously like blue wine. My mate must be strong. I'm a diplomat. I yelped, barely avoiding getting decapitated. Her laugh was far too entertained. To my surprise, I survived. Mostly thanks to some quick thinking, a few borrowed stun grenades, and the Xarkali's deep appreciation for cleverness over brute force. Apparently, tripping my opponent into his own pit trap counted as honorable. Who knew? By the time the final trial ended, I was battered, bruised, and absolutely done with alien courtship rituals. I have proven myself, I panted, hands on my knees. Now can we talk about trade agreements? Zylara stepped forward. She was imposing, nearly 7 feet tall, covered in shimmering silver-blue scales, with a crown of ridged spines running down her back. But there was something oddly fond in her expression. I underestimated you, human. She reached out, brushing sharp claws over my jawline. You are not merely prey. I had no idea how to respond to that. Then she grabbed my arm, pulling me up onto the royal dais, and announced, "Let the bonding ceremony commence." I tried everything to get out of it. Diplomacy, appeals to reason, faking a sudden and highly contagious illness. Nothing worked. Zylara seemed genuinely interested in me, which was almost flattering if it weren't also terrifying. The Xarkali court saw me as some sort of cunning warrior diplomat, a rare combination in their eyes. In a private moment, Raj sighed and patted my shoulder. You could just go through with it, you know. I gave him a flat stare. Marry an alien queen. She's powerful, influential, and actually seems to like you. A shrug. Plus, think about how insane your memoir is gonna be. Groaned. That's not helpful. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized. This might not be a disaster. The day of the bonding ceremony arrived. The Xarkali palace was decked out in crystalline banners, glowing bioluminescent flora, and entire orchestras of alien musicians. Thousands of Xarkali had gathered to witness the moment their queen took a mate. And I, Richard Carter, Terran Federation diplomat, reluctant gladiator, accidental fiancé, stood at the center of it all. Zylara approached, adorned in flowing iridescent robes, her golden eyes locked onto mine. I had expected this to feel like an execution. Didn't. Do you accept this bond? She asked, voice low, serious. I hesitated. Then, surprising even myself, I said, yes. A thunderous cheer rose through the crowd. Later that night, as the celebrations raged and Raj got spectacularly drunk on something way too strong, Zylara and I stood alone on the palace balcony. You could have refused, she said. Smirked. Could I, though? She laughed, a deep, melodic sound. You will be a fascinating mate. Exhaled. So, about those trade negotiations. She grinned, sharp teeth gleaming. We can discuss them after the honeymoon. I swallowed hard. What had I just gotten myself into?